Johnston is set to, or he's set to be offered a new long-term deal at Celtic, a bumper new deal. We've had plenty of comments on that, and I'll dive right into them. David Jones, one of the best signings in recent years. Good to see the club looking after him, not before time. Future captain material. Chris Crawford saying Johnston deserves every penny. His hard work goes unnoticed most games because he's rock solid. And Chris McGovern says this: what an engine Johnston has. He's been a great signing. Seems to get it right from the first game. And sorry, just finally, Nick O'Donnell is tipping him to be wanted by the likes of Juventus or Man United.
It's very specific.
Very specific, I know.
Must know something.
Scott, we discussed this a little bit on last night's Hotline Live. Michael Gannon said that he reckons that Johnston could be Celtic's next £20 million sale. I mean, or certainly one of them. Do you rate him that highly?
Could be. I mean, we think of what Juranovic went for. I would argue Johnston. I think Johnston's probably a better player than Juranovic. He's been a terrific addition for them. I was speaking to somebody last week. Actually, we were talking about like players that had come to Scotland for the MLS. And we were talking about the kind of standard. And a lot of players have come for the MLS, I think, and have struggled in Scotland. But he's probably been the best. I mean, somebody will correct me, certainly. But in recent times, it feels like Alastair Johnston has been one of, if not the best player to come for the MLS, but into Scottish football. Just so solid and reliable defensively. He's got a brilliant kind of personality on the pitch. That's on the pitch and off it. I mean, media-wise, he's brilliant for us to deal with as well. There's always a great interview in him. And it's just interesting when you compare. There's also a lot of talk about James Tavernier just now as well at Rangers. And when you hear people kind of back James Tavernier because of the amount of goals and assists, and we've said a million times, Tavernier's numbers for a right back are obviously incredible, but I don't think MD would argue with the fact that Johnston's a better defender. And I suppose that is the great debate. I mean, when I hear people saying about Tavernier and the goals and assists, I say to them, but would you rather have an Alastair Johnston who gets you one goal a season, but can help you win titles and trophies? Do you know what I mean? And that, listen, it's a difficult balance and it is a debate, but I certainly think for Celtic, who are a team obviously where they've got goals all over the pitch, middle to front, which you could maybe argue Rangers haven't had in recent years, but that's why Johnston's been a brilliant signing for them. And I think that guy's right. If he keeps doing what he's doing, there will be interest in him, and that's why Celtic will be looking to tie him down in this new deal.
But that's the thing, isn't it, about Celtic doing their housework? They're run so well when you compare to the situation which comes up time and time again at Rangers when they're losing players at the end of the contract as free agents or selling them for buttons. Alastair Johnston looks as if he could be the next big one. Aye. So Celtic go, don't mess about. Go get him tied down a big contract, protect yourself, and you're getting indemnity now, because once he signs that bit of paper, you can ask what you want. Aye. And Celtic are making it clear now they're not prepared to sell low. They want to set low ball offers. So I think there's every reason to think that Alastair Johnston could be yet another one where they've brought him in for pennies and sold him for fortunes.
Scott makes a good point there that I definitely think at some point last season when James Tavernier was scoring, what did he get, 25 goals all in? I think a lot of people would have picked Tavernier over Johnston. I definitely don't think that's the case now. I don't think there'll be many that go for Tavernier.
Well, I completely agree. Alastair Johnston, and you need to look at Alastair Johnston's assists as well. Aye. Because, I mean, all right, he might not score the amount that Tavernier does, but he creates a lot down that right-hand side. Aye. I think the other thing, we're comparing the two clubs and player trading models, etc., etc. Sick of hearing about it. But if Rangers were serious, if Rangers were a serious outfit, I think it was Ross Wilson that was in charge of player trading model at the time. See the season that Tavernier skippered Rangers to the Europa League final and was the top scorer in the competition. He was pulling up trees all over Europe. Mm-hmm. That's, if you've got a player trading model, and by the way, 6 months previous to, they sold Nathan Patterson, cashed in on a guy that hardly played for the first team for 12 million. Celtic's player trading model would be, he's a Gary, you've been brilliant, but you know what? We've got this young guy that's going to be even better. Aye. Step aside, even though you're a fan's hero, In comes Kieran Tierney. If Rangers were really serious about a player trading model, they should have cashed in Tavernier that summer. They should have said to Nathan Patterson in January, "You're not going anywhere, son, because you're our first choice right back for the start of the season." And I don't know what you made for James Tavernier, from the sale of James Tavernier at that summer, but I'm telling you, I think it would be a big number.
It would have been 28, 29. You'd have made at least, what, 10, 15 million?
Well, if we're talking about
top scorer in Europa League.
the money for exactly a right back.
Aye.
I think Rangers could have named a price for him at that point.
Aye.
And they could have kept Nathan Patterson, did exactly what Celtic did with Kieran Tierney, put him in the top team, get 3 full seasons out of him,
Aye.
and then you're not selling him to Everton for £12 million.
Aye, get a lot more.
You're selling him to Arsenal for 25.
Aye.
That is the way, but it's so obvious, it's blindingly obvious, and Rangers are sitting there scratching their head wondering, how can we get a player trading model? I mean, it's actually criminal when you look at it.
Aye. No, I completely agree. Scott, talking about Rangers, Keith mentioned there he's kind of sick of going on about the player trading model.